1. That is your 2-minute warning. We're going to get started in 2 minutes. Now keep you on your toes. 2 minutes.
Yeah. like, in that, out of the hole, and I think it's I'm not going anywhere.
Remember last year, you were like, look at my shoes. Y'all did it again. Look at my shoes. Hi, welcome to the deep end. Please do not feel like you have to find your seat immediately. All through the evening, you are free to get up, grab a drink, grab food. This is casual. This is family. This is fun. Meet people. So, hi, welcome to the deep end. I'm Anjanette Miller. I am the CEO and co-founder of Echo. I just can't tell you how happy I am to see old friends, new friends, potential friends. Like, this means a tremendous amount, not just to me, but to the community that we serve. And they're here in this room as well. So thank you very much for spending your Thursday with us. I'm hoping we're going to treat you well. We have lots of food, lots of drink, lots of desserts. So please have fun. I wanted to share a little bit about why the deep end. So 5 years ago, I was on a Zoom call doing some work for the Emily K Center. I was an educational consultant. I had a business in Dallas that was a standalone brick and mortar, doing all kinds of services for students. We also developed some software that was used by some charter schools in the area. I sold all that, exited that, came here, and was just kind of consulting, and then COVID. And then I met Quincy King, who, Quincy King was a student at Duke. He was graduated, but he had started Audacity Labs with Mitch Saba, who was the innovation director at the Museum of Life and Science, and together they thought, what if there was a youth entrepreneurship program in Durham that invited students into startup space and gave them support, gave them room to play, to think, to imagine, and see themselves in that space. So I happened to be on this Zoom call with some Emily K students, and Quincy came on to do an advert for Audacity Labs. And I was like, what is this? Like, I love this. So I reached out and said, I love this. Can I help? And he said, how much? Because I graduated, I gotta go work. Like, they're calling me, like, I gotta go. And I said, okay, well, let's talk. So we talked, I met Mitch, and then I was like, is there a salary? Is there money? And he's like, nope. I said, okay. So we figured it out. So 5 years ago, I jumped in the deep end. because it makes sense. And I am entrepreneurial, had been, it just made sense for the community. And I was like, this feels like home, and I think I could steward this for him and for Mitch. 18 months later, I met Reed Frankel and Larry Long Jr. I had met Reed before, because he had been kind of involved with Audacity Labs and a supporter, but I didn't know Reed. And so they approached Audacity Labs, they approached me and said, hey, what do you think about potentially merging with an adult entrepreneurship program, the Healy's Foundation? Maybe there's some room for a pipeline. If Healy's Foundation was working with necessity-driven entrepreneurs, so those that were entering into entrepreneurship at the lowest barrier point, often not invited into space of innovation and technology and startup, our youth could be the children of the adults that we were serving. What if we changed the trajectory? What if we changed the story? What if we disrupted that? And so 18 months ago, I jumped in the deep end. Well, it was a little longer than that, because that was 3 years ago. It was 23 that we merged. Then at the end of 23, we had a change in leadership, and the board came to me and said, will you become CEO? Will you run Echo? I was like, I don't know, I guess. Now it's our baby. So I jumped in the deep end in Durham, North Carolina, a place that I love. I didn't know that I've been waiting my whole life to get here. And I love it here, and I feel like home here, and I feel like I'm part of the family here. So I didn't know that I'd been waiting all this time to be here and steward this. And I didn't even start calling myself an entrepreneur until I moved here. But I had started a business 20 years before, and I ran it, and somebody bought it. And we developed software, and somebody bought it. And I didn't know any of the words. I didn't say, I didn't know anything. I was just a small business owner, and I got a little lucky. And I got a little lucky because I had a community around me. And that's what we're trying to do here. So I'm very proud of where we are today. So when I took over CEO, it was the end of 23. So really 24 and 25, we had been testing out what we kept hearing from our community, what was missing from the ecosystem, where they felt like they could grow more or there could be deeper impact. So we've been testing out all kinds of different ways to implement programming, partner with people. So I'm really proud of our numbers here. And this has been in 25. But the $275,000, you can go to the next one. So this kind of came, not really by accident, but sorta. I've been like researching, studying, learning, and just trying to do as deep of a dive as I could into entrepreneurship and what's missing in the triangle. And we hear all the time, like access to quality education, access to quality mentorship, and then access to capital. A lot of ESOs are checking boxes in 1 and 2 because it's easy enough. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's easy enough to stand up, right? Just find some good education, find some quality mentors. But we weren't seeing anybody that was doing all 3. We had some funding from the city of Durham that we were able to pay some of our teens to lead our program, or pay our teens to have a stipend and build a creative entrepreneurship, a magazine, or paint a mural, or we did Teens Tackle Hunger. And then I used that same frame and started to apply it with our adults. Could I engage with adults and have them on retainer? Would that move the needle for them to have that guaranteed a little bit of income every month? Could we try to raise some money and have a pitch competition and have awards? We had partnered with an organization in Raleigh that has funding for emergency grants and grants where we feed our entrepreneurs into that cycle of grants, and they do that quarterly. So I'm really, really proud that, again, deep end, we decided we wanted to make direct investments to our teens and our adult entrepreneurs. So now we can try to do all 3. So that's what we've been playing around with the last year and a half. What you're going to hear tonight is from the entrepreneurs themselves and some of the people in our community that are championing the work that we do. So thank you for that. I'm really happy to be here. This makes me super proud and inspired. We have an amazing team, an amazing board. You'll be introduced to them later. So I want to now bring up our MC, Mr. Larry Lowe Jr., who's on our board, who I met, and why don't you come do this thing? I was like, I don't know, let's see what happens. And here we are.
Good evening. No. It's not going to be that kind of party tonight. Is my microphone on? Good evening. Thank you. Much better. I see that we're with it tonight. It's a thankful Thursday. My name is Larry Long Jr., CEO, Chief Energy Officer. And y'all have already passed the test. The energy in this room was in the words of the great philosopher, J.J. Walker. God, no mine. I love it. Welcome. Thank you for that kind intro, Anjanette. We are in the deep end, financing the future. And tonight is not just a sit and watch event. I know we've all been to them where you get your food and it's a snooze fest. If that's what you're expecting, I'm sorry. We're going to shake it up a little bit. I think they said if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And my Steve Harvey Family Feud Boys survey says, nah, we're going to break it. We're going to shake it. We're going to flip it upside down, and we're going to have a good time tonight. So I'm super excited to walk you through tonight. And once again, like Anjanette said, this isn't about me. This is really about our community. This is about you. So I really want to get you thinking. What's your intention? Why are you here? You could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with us. Why? Who do you want to support in the community? Who do you want to meet in the community? What do you want to learn tonight? Please set an intention right now so we can make sure that we deliver on that tonight. Now we're about to jump in with both feet and experience the investment in Echo and what it means. We're here to provide information, provide knowledge, as well as to ask for your support. You're going to hear from founders, the youth, community champions, as well as Echo's advisory board. You're going to see how Echo is building something new for the Triangle. Envision a community center for entrepreneurs, a place that you join, not just a place that you rent. Now, before we get going, I have 3 ground rules. Ground rule number 1, you got to enjoy yourself and have fun. Ground rule number 2, you got to have fun and enjoy yourself. Someone help me out. What's ground rule number 3? Okay, I see y'all are still awake. I appreciate that. Now, if everyone can pull out your phones, everyone got a phone? Pull out a phone. Okay. Take it to the camera. Turn to the selfie camera. Turn to the person next to you. Put a big old smile. Say cheese. Snap, snap. Let me get this side. That's pretty great. Come on, y'all. So I need you to post on social media. I love it. We do not want this to be a secret, so whether you're on TikTok, get your dances in, whether you're on IG, Facebook, they call me LinkedIn Larry, I need you to post about the amazing evening that you're having tonight. And go ahead and hashtag Echo, hashtag take the lead, hashtag deep in. Go ahead and get creative with it. We're going to have some fun. I love it. Now before we get started, I do want to introduce Coach Ken, Echo's program manager, who's going to walk us through some of the interactive pieces for tonight. If y'all can give a warm Echo welcome to Coach Ken Block.
So, Michael Jordan just spoke. Scott Pippen, so I guess they passed the ball. I'll be John Paxson. Anybody know anything about the Bulls? John Paxson was just the guy who sat in the corner, and every now and again he made a three-pointer that just counted. That would be me right now. What I want to do is talk a little bit about why I'm here before I get into the games. I am here because of the vision that Anjanette actually spoke about. I am an entrepreneur. And I host a radio station called TDS Radio. With my sister. It stands for Two Dope Siblings. She's back there. So we had an opportunity to talk with Anjanette and some of the students. They came into our office, and it was a pretty lengthy conversation. And we were also sitting with Austin, one of the board members, and it was like, okay, so what can we do? And Anjanette kept saying things like this: we can do all the things. And I'm like, all the things? I don't feel like I'm fitting into this. Like, okay, well, this is what we can do. And she's like, yeah, we can do all the things. And in my mind, I kept saying, man, I would love to keep working with these students. I would love to keep going with these students. And at the end of the conversation, she just happened to say to my sister, you looking for a job? And my sister passed the ball to me, thank God. She said, no, but he is. And the reason why I was looking for a job is because I'm an educator. I've taught at Little High School, and I also taught at Cornell Voters High School. I taught English. And I got tired of being restricted on how we teach our students. So you're in a box. So if you're a creative, it's hard to get outside that box because somebody's going to be offended by a dream. It doesn't matter what it is or who you're talking to, somebody will be offended by a dream. So I got the opportunity to interview, went through the interview stages, and got an email by Anjanette saying, hey, we want you. I'm like, yes. And I didn't realize the impact and the power that was going to happen instantly. And when I mean instantly, I got the job. 2 weeks later, I need you to help run a camp at North Carolina Central. And it's for their seed program. This is a partnership that we're working out. And you got it, kid. Go for it. But I got an opportunity to take everything that my sister and I do as an entrepreneur and put it inside of children and see that light go off. The impact was instant, and it became addictive. So addictive that I wanted to get as many children as I could in front of our program, in our programming. So when you say, well, what do you mean, Ken? Well, right now we're running a Future Founders program. Anjanette said, Ken, it's coming to the end of the year, we got to get some people in this program. I said, all right, well, how many? She said, 10, minimum. I said, okay, cool. All I did was get a chance to talk about Echo and the opportunities and the people that are here and the network that is sitting in these chairs. And we ended up with 24 students in 2 weeks. That's the Echo impact. 24 students who their parents were just like, we have to have our kids a part of this. They have to be inside of this. And so for me, being here now, I'm like, what's the next set? What's the next set of impact that we can do? And tonight is going to be the part where we give a little bit, but we have some fun. Because we're going to give to you as you give to us. And with that, there's some bingo cards that you guys will see at your table. Those bingo cards at your table is where we're going to have a little bit of fun. Larry, did you move that bingo card? You move that bingo card.
Don't tell nobody. Bingo.
So now, this is an interactive night. As we were playing in this, the one thing that we all said, and as educators, myself and also Anjanette, we cannot have people sitting for close to 90 minutes without interacting with one another. That's like sitting somebody in front of a bad movie, right? Like eventually you're like, all right, okay. So we want people in this room to get to know each other. So literally, that's what this card is, right? So I'll start it off. Would you like to get coffee sometime? Sure. We gotta take the mic. Okay. So then you just gotta, right here. So your table can go ahead and mark that off right there. That's one spot. Right here. Yep. So inviting Echo Entrepreneur staff member to coffee within the next month. Oh, I asked you. You supposed to ask me. Oh, listen, we'll work it out. We'll work it out. Yeah, we're not gonna. You got it. So I'm competitive. Anjanette's competitive. Our team is competitive. This throughout the night. Already. I love it. Can I have fun with you? Because you've been having fun all night. Okay, cool. You're going to be my safe space for the rest of the night. So now, with this card, we have, if you get bingo, of course, just like you did, we're going to yell out. We have a beautiful swag table over there. You'll be able to get something over there off of our swag table. But we're going to keep track throughout the night. We have multiple breaks. And we're going to see who has the most by the end of the night. And because we're competitive and we want to continue to see your faces, that oar over there, some table is going to walk out with the oar and the bragging rights for this evening. You got to make some noise for that one. You got to clap that one. And you also got to clap it up because Anjanette decorated with that oar. That oar looks fantastic. She's some time in that oar. Okay? So that's one. The next piece that is important at your table, hold on 1 second. There, you did me wrong there. It's okay. There we go. Let's talk about the investment journey. So we have commitment cards that are going to be sitting at your table. These commitment cards talk about the 4 different areas that we impact as Echo. These 4 different areas are the areas that any type of donation, any type of volunteering, this is the areas that we look to work on when we talk about investing in our adults and our youth. So number 1 is just the creative capital pool. I won't read all of them to you. I want you guys to go around and kind of just read this on your own. But the one that always sticks out to me is the peer coaches and subject experts for the community. We had a 10-week class called Routes to Results. Roots, depending on where you come from, roots or routes to results. And those people were able to have some one-on-one time with some of the people who spoke at our routes to results. That's what we're looking for. So we get a guy who knows AI, and he's all about that. We go ahead and give him money so he can come in and help our entrepreneurs. That's the goal that we're looking to be able to do tonight. Support our entrepreneurs who need support to continue on with their goals. So, real quick, we have next. Flip next. This is a quick video. This speaks about our impact. This is why we're here tonight.
Every entrepreneur knows the feeling. It's that moment, right before you leap, that sharp intake of breath before you jump into the deep end. It's the place where the risk is real, where the challenge is staggering, and for too long, it's been a place where you jump completely alone.
The journey of the entrepreneur, the hero, shouldn't be a story of isolation. It should be a story of community. What if, when you jumped, you found a fellowship waiting to support you? What if your single voice was met with a chorus of entrepreneurs?
That's why we are here.
That's why we are here.
Por eso estamos aquí. That's why we are here. We are Echo.
En ECHO estamos redefiniendo el emprendimiento. Creemos que la comunidad es la vida. Somos un hogar construido para eliminar el aislamiento, proporcionando las 3 cosas que todo héroe necesita. Aprendizaje personalizado, porque tu idea es única. Acceso a capital, para convertir esa visión en realidad. Y construcción de relaciones, que son la base de todo. La prueba están los héroes a quienes seguir.
We're building a new kind of hub, a place where the seasoned founder and the high school dreamer can build side by side, a place where anyone with an idea can walk in and find their people, find their footing, and find their strength.
When you empower an entrepreneur, you don't just help one person, you start a chain reaction. Their success doesn't just build a business, it builds our community, it builds our future. It creates an echo of innovation, an echo of opportunity, an echo of hope that transforms our city, one hero at a time.
Let's make their echo deafening. So, now it's time to hear from our panelists. So, Larry, you're on.
Thank you so much, Coach Ken. Give it up for Coach Ken. So now that you have the big picture about what Echo does, and just to share with you, I joined the board of Helios 6 years ago. As a former entrepreneur, I used to have an indoor baseball and softball academy. I know how difficult entrepreneurship is. And the mission of Helios was to support necessity-driven entrepreneurs. Now with Echo, we add in the student component, and it really just touches my heart being able to have that impact. So now is the time, as you can see, our esteemed panelists, we're going to hear directly from those entrepreneurs who live this each and every day. Now I'm in the sales rep, and I met a sales guru who told me, Larry, in my 30 years of business, in my 30 years of sales, what I learned is the difference between contacts, people you know, and contracts, people you do business with. It's that letter R. Can someone help me out? What do you think that letter R might stand for? Relationships. A little bit louder for the people in the back. Relationships. Thank you. Relationships, which we know. It's not what you know, but it's no. Survey says, nah, it's not even who you know. It's who knows you. Who likes you, who trusts you, who believes in you, that really makes things happen. So our first conversation is called Tailored Learning and Trusted Relationships. Most support programs give every founder the same playbook. Echo, we flip it up. We're building something different. Coaching, community, so great to see you. And learning that is shaped around each entrepreneur's stage, pace, and lived experience. Please join me in welcoming panel number 1, Tailored Learning and Trusted Relationship. Let's give it up for them. We've got our community champions, Miranda and Naomi. We've got our Echo entrepreneurs, Anna, Marvis, Kenya, and Kenita. So let's go ahead and get started with our champions. Let's keep it snappy, but we'll start with Anna. Where were you when you first came to Echo, and what did you need most in that moment?
So when I first found out about Echo, it was because my daughter was in a program that she was in a magazine, Shabada, I'm probably saying that wrong, but that's it. And I came to the ceremony for the final showcase of what they had done, and I was so impressed that afterwards I said, hey, do y'all have a program like this for grown-ups? And they told me that they did. And I was so excited because I am an angelic Reiki practitioner. And I've been wanting to start a business doing that for years and just had no idea how to do that. So I really needed help. I needed tailored learning. I needed someone to walk with me through those steps that had kept me just sitting at my house thinking about it for like 6 years. So yeah, thanks so much.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing. So next entrepreneur, we'll go with Kenya. What is something you tried before Echo that didn't quite land, and how did Echo's approach support you and help you to move forward?
I can answer that with my eyes closed easily. Actually, I did another entrepreneur journey before this one, and actually paid $10,000 for coaching. And what looked like mentorship. And I showed up every week with this mentoring program for someone to ask me, so what do you need to know? Well, I don't know what I don't know. And so that's why I paid you. And so, you know, it just didn't, it was a sour spot for me because that's a lot of money to invest. And, you know, I just have this thing, you know, scared money don't make money. So, you know, I threw it to the wind. I did get a little something out of it, but definitely not what I intended to. And so when I came to Echo and the entry point was $85, I'm like, I can blow that on DoorDash easily. So let me throw this to the wind and see what happens. And that $85 landed me this beautiful community that supports me and who has ushered me into this entrepreneur journey with so much love and so much passion. It is priceless. It is far more worth than that $85. Great.
That's powerful. Now we're going to turn to our champions, and I apologize. We'll start with Miranda. When you look at Echo, what feels different from other founder programs that you've seen or been a part of?
I appreciate it. When I look at Echo, and I think about the journey that everyone is getting to have here, it's not just transactional, it's relationship. And even though the transaction is it's priceless to have relationship, to be in covenant with somebody, and to have that relationship where people are actually going to cover you and not covet you.
Naomi, I'm gonna ask you the same question.
Can you ask me the same question?
You got it. When you look at Echo, what feels different from other founder-led programs that you've seen and have been a part of?
Yeah, most definitely. I actually started my own business when I was 14 years old, and I started when I was 18 to pay my way through college, actually. And one thing that stood out to me about Echo is that when I had my first small business, I didn't know anything. There was no community, there was no one to tell me anything, there was no one to guide me, there was no one to give me, to be extremely transparent. There was a sense of ownership and keeping it to themselves and not really wanting to share. And one thing about Echo is the transparency, the community. We say community a lot, but we only see community when people show up for one another and when people lift one another up. And that's one thing that Echo has been for me, and I know for a fact has been for so many other people that I have directed this way to Echo.
Love it. What did Echo help you focus on that changed how you run your business?
Okay, thank you. I'm gonna keep it to what we talked about earlier. So let me find my answer. We had interviews prior, and I'm the type of person that I really need to stay on script.
I love it. I love it. I apologize because I flip the script all the time.
You really just did. So I'm sitting here like, which question did you say?
My apologies. I didn't mean to shake it up on you.
You did. You said you was gonna slap it off with the turn.
I might be an HR violation.
You came in with the BDD code, not me.
Oh no!
See, that's why I have to stay on script. Can you read the question?
Let me reverse it and rewind it. So what did Echo help you focus on that changed how you run your business?
Okay.
What's been the impact of Echo on your business?
One word. Budget. Charts. Cash flow. You know those classes you take in college that teach you all about business, and then you like tuck it in your back pocket? Echo was like, no, dust that off and bring it back. So I would say that was like the biggest thing, which is paying way more attention to my money and where it was going. And yeah, that DoorDash, we had to cut that out.
Let's give it up for Taylor. Thank you so much. And we're going to keep the history on. Meet my good friend over here, Marvis. I had the opportunity to meet Marvis. I had the opportunity to speak with the Echo group. And we were there early. We were outside. It was 9 o'clock in the morning. And Marvis said, I heard we have a guest speaker. I was like, oh, okay. She said, he better be good. I said, oh, no pressure. I said, he better be good. I don't know if I delivered on it, but I think Marvis and I are now fabulous friends. So Marvelous, Marvis. How have the relationships you built at Echo shaped your confidence or your next steps as a founder?
Okay, so with Echo, I realized that I needed to understand how to scale my business. And with the 10-week program, I am working toward doing exactly that, scaling my business.
I love it. I'm going to hit you. I see you twinkle in your eye, Marvis. I'm going to hit you with another one. I would love to know why invest in entrepreneurs like you? For all these folks that are here to support, why should they invest?
So, on behalf of the 61,000 Golden Heart girls in Durham and the millions in America, we just want to have fun. And the time is now, because we have been to nurturers, you all are in the room because of the work that we've done. And so what we want to do is just let us have fun.
I love it. I like to have fun. Now we're going to wrap this up with our champions. I would love to hear in one sentence each. Why is tailored, relationship-driven support worth investing in for our champions?
You know where your money is actually going. Because how many of us have donated to do something and help something, and you don't really know if that's where it's going. So guess what? When you put your dollars into Echo, you're going to see your ROI. It may be your corner store baker that now has got set up. It may be your future line dancing gal. I'm gonna join the group. But you get to see the product of it. You know where your money's going, and you get to be a part of it also.
I'm gonna simply say, as a person of color, I don't trust a lot of people. As a queer person, I don't trust a lot of people. As a drag queen, I don't trust a lot of people. But I trust Echo. I really, really do. And so to answer that question, I'm gonna say one word among the many words that I just said, trust.
Wow, thank you so much. Let's give a rousing round of applause. Panel number one, get on your feet, get on your feet. Give it up for panel number one. Taylor Langley, Effective Relationship. Thank you. Naomi, Miranda, Anna, Pamela, Anita, and Lawrence. Thank you so much. Now, some of the things that I heard, I'm not sure if you heard these same things, but it was support, it was community, connection, relationships, and then also budget and cash flow. Now, you just heard what it's like when a community center for entrepreneurs starts with relationships and fit, and not just content. So we want to say thank you again to panel number one. Now, we shared with you that it was going to be interactive. So this is our first break between panel number one and panel number two. I want you to go ahead and pick up your bingo cards, and we're fitting to get loose. Yeah, fitting to get loose. Yeah, I'm going to say y'all loose for 10 minutes. I want you to go ahead and make a connection with someone that you don't know. So look around at your table, and if you know the people at your table, you got to get up, stand up, and work to the great philosopher Bob Marley, and meet someone new. I'll see you back in 10 minutes. Be on the listen for the Jaws music when it's time to come back. See you all in 10.
Thank you.
And we've got a bingo, Coach Blocker. They're coming to you. We've got a bingo. B-I-N-G-O. As you can hear, the jazz music is playing. If we can get back to our seats, please. Thank you. I love it. I love the energy in the room. Fabulous friends, if we can bring it back,
It's right here.
And I love the amazing excitement. We're going to take it out to the crowd. I want to hear from the crowd. We've got Carrie, Shannon, and Naomi. Can we give a round of applause for Carrie, Shannon, and Naomi? I would love to hear, what did you learn during that break? Who did you meet and what did you learn? Thank you so much, Carrie. Shannon, what did you learn?
Well, I really learned. Hello, everyone. I'm telling you, I learned.
Y'all gotta go up.
So I just think what's really amazing about Echo is that it's not just about the community, it's actually working with real relationships. Like, how to scale, how to budget, how to build a business. I think so many times we look at this list, they're all like, this is well done. But I think here you're actually bringing real life sales and how it's value, that's valuable money. That's what I love about this organization.
Let's give it up for Carrie, Shannon, and Naomi. We are ready to get back with our program. I think I saw some folks that have video. If you can, let's bring it back. Let's give our attention to our upcoming panelists, Karen Drew. I love the excitement. I feel the energy and the excitement. If you can hear my voice back once. If you can hear my voice back twice. Give me great power. Okay, thank you so much, fabulous friend. And we're going to have another break to keep the amazing conversations going. But now, it is back to the program. Panel number 2. I think in the words of the great philosopher, he said, hey, must be the money. What philosopher was that? Any music fans out there? What philosopher? Elder, okay? Now you're talking about money. So we all know that money is the biggest barrier for entrepreneurs, especially entrepreneurs of color, women, and youth. Now, Echo is experimenting with creative capital, micro grants, paid contracts, pitch awards, retail relationships, and other ways to put dollars in our founders' hands. Can you join me in welcoming panel number 2? Give it up for panel number 2. Coming to the stage, we've got Farah, Malik, Colin, Asia, Nadia, Chef Brew. Can we give it up for Chef Brew? Who took us an amazing eat. I'm trying to cut down, but I can't, Chef Brew. You are amazing. And we've also got Sally on our panel as well. Okay, we'll roll with the punches. Nadia is invisible, but we hold a special place in our heart. Absolutely love it. So I'm going to start off with Farah. Mr. Ali. Yeah, give it up for Farah. Let's do the money. Hey. How did you find your first big leap? And what did those no's and yes moments teach you about capital?
Yeah, capital is an interesting thing in understanding how to achieve capital and being able to explain to people who have capital how you're going to use that capital is critical. So really having a really good conscience of, is this working capital to help me meet payroll? Is this capital to buy a product? Is this capital to invest in my people? I think being able to express that kind of capital helps you know how you're going to pay it back and what that can look like in the future. So I think having no's are part of the process, but I think also when people say no, that's a chance to re-engage them, to learn why they're telling you no. Because they may be saying, I'm telling you no because you need to fully develop this opportunity in a way that allow them to help you. So I look at no's as an opportunity. There's only 3 answers for me that really make things clear. Yes, no, and a clear future. And so I try to turn no's into what's a clear future for how I can maybe get to that yes.
I love it. So a no is just no for right now.
It could be no, hell no.
Okay.
Because you're trying to open up a club and I don't do clubs.
Oh, no, hell no.
Right. But it's important to me to get that kind of feedback and look at that information. As an entrepreneur, being able to have enough humility to hear no and still be engaging shows your maturity as an entrepreneur.
I love it. Now I'm going to double dip.
Don't do that.
Chocolate chip.
Uh-oh.
We're going to flip it in reverse. Watch out.
Go ahead, Nicky.
Yeah, I think I heard something about D-Cube. Anyone know what D-Cube is? It's not Ice Cube, but D-Cube. And I'd like to know what a double duty dollar is.
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah, so I'm from a small city in New York called Brooklyn. And in that city, what we had was communities. And so you saw in those communities how people spent money inside their communities. So Italians would spend money in their community, the Jewish people would do that, as well as people of color, and you saw that over and over. But that double duty dollar is really important because as people invested in you and your business, you were able to give back by having employment, and that employment would help those people maybe buy homes, which would help the kids buy computers. So we saw that in certain communities, people double duty their dollar because they made sure their dollar stayed in their community. And so as an entrepreneur, recognizing that we're in a community that's very diverse, and then if we want to see prosperity, all of our communities need to prosper. So investing in that community, the dollar can kind of get interest, not just the economic interest, but the interest of the community better.
I love it. We're going to roll that over and keep those dollars. Yeah. Give it up for Rob. Thank you so much. You all know how to write the post on the leash right in the middle. Thank you so much. What did that teach you about access to capital for founders just like you?
So that actually happens every time someone asks me a question. For context, I run a software startup, and so for funding, I went the more traditional route for venture capital. And before this, I was an investor, so I actually sat in that seat before I made the leap. And it turned out it was relationships. Like, you asked him how many times he heard no. I heard no a lot as well, right? But it's all about trust. People that trusted me, people that, when I was selling them a vision, that wanted to say, you know, like, this is kind of right, but you're not all the way there. And so for me, in selling that vision, it was all about talking to people that I trust, that were willing to kind of walk me through it, even when I was in a more vulnerable state as a first-time founder, sitting in front of people that had a lot of money to say no to me.
I love it. And we've all heard that people like to work with, people like to buy from, folks they know, they like, they trust, and that they believe in. Talk to me about, if we could rewind back, how challenging was it to get people to know you, to like you, to trust you, and believe you enough to write you that check?
You know, I think at the time I didn't think it was challenging because it was just kind of being me, right? It was just trusting myself and sitting in rooms like this to go up to strangers and say, like, hello, this is my story. This is what I'm curious about in the world. This is what I think, this is what I believe. And just being honest with people, and just kind of felt that trust kind of flowed out. It was about asking for connections ruthlessly, saying, you seem interesting, can I ask you for a favor, right? And people sometimes would say, yeah, sure, and then they never follow up. But like, oftentimes, like they would follow up, and like it in some ways is like a bit of a it's an awkward thing. It's not like a normal human behavior to ask for help to a stranger, but found, at least in my short story, that it's worked time and time again.
So it sounds like you had to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And I did some work with a coach who said, Larry, healthy people, and at the time I wasn't healthy, healthy people ask for exactly what they want. Exactly what they want. Thank you so much, Malik. We're now going to go to Colin. From your sister's perspective, why does it matter that Echo helps entrepreneurs find the right kind of capital at the right stage?
Great question. First of all, a little background from the Economic Development Partnership, which is more the mainstream large business improvement economic development. Y'all, we don't carry this type of energy. So maybe, like, it's truly amazing to see just the human-centric nature of what we're talking about. And it's all the same stuff. It's capital, which is resources. I think that you're getting to. You're talking about expending capital and relational capital before you got the dollar sign capital. And that's something that I would really point everyone to in lifting up what Echo does is the most dangerous thing that can happen is that you get the right capital at the wrong time, or the wrong capital at the right time. And what Anjanette and this entire ecosystem is going to do is tell you what those different types of capital are. You don't know that you have relational capital, that you have ideological capital, that you have capital to offer to the people with money. It's just resources. These are just words. We're assigning value to them. So a lot of times you don't know what you don't know. The last panel said that. That is the most poignant way to put it, is that this is a place, if you're a Sherpa, I know what I need. I don't know what I even have. They're going to tell you that you actually have capital, that you know these people. Go and leverage that before you take on actual debt and financial capital. And I see this all the time with large businesses, with startups, with entrepreneurs. Get into this community and see what type of capital you need, in what order. That's going to save you a lot of heartache and hopefully make that idea lift off.
Thank you so much. Give it up for Asia. I'm curious, what has been the hardest part about finding funding for your business, and how did Echo step in at the right moment?
The hardest part about finding funding for my business was just realizing that I needed funding. So I started my business, which is a mobile espresso bar, in honor of my father. After he passed away, I took a deep dive into specialty coffee, and that was just my therapeutic hobby to help get me out of that dark space and grave. Then I said, you know what, I don't want this to just be a hobby, I want to do this as a business. Well, as a business, you need access to capital and you need customers. So Echo helped me co-write a grant, and I was actually lucky enough to get that grant. And not only did I receive that grant, but it also led to my first corporate client for my business.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I'm going to call it Ottawa. I think Peyton Manning called it Omaha. We're going to take it to the streets. I'm going to come out. I can see the gears turning out here in the audience. Who has a question for one of our champions or one of our panelists as it relates to money? We're financing the future. What question do you want to ask our panelists? Don't all speak at once.
How do you prioritize?
Hold on, we'll come right back to you. Yes. Please state your name and then what's your question?
Hi, my name is Ari. I'm a baker. I own a business. I'm a teenager. So my question is, how do you, I guess, manage money in a sense that might not make sense to everyone else? Because sometimes you have to shape your budget to fit you. So how do you do that but still make it make sense financially?
Great question.
If your outflow exceeds your inflow, then your downfall will be your upkeep.
Anyone else on the panel care to share?
I tell you, like I tell my children, don't spend everything. And I have a teenager and a preteen, and I keep it very simple. I tell them, put a little money aside for a rainy day and save enough for Rita.
I love it. I love it. We have one more question here in our VIP corner. What was your question, sir?
So she kind of hit on that, but I've got another one pertaining to the circular economy idea. How do you make sure your dollars are staying in your community?
Hi, I'm Sally Starkville, and I'm an educational and HR consultant, and I came to Echo and was learning things as an entrepreneur. And then Anjanette was like, oh, you're fun. You can plan events. I was like, I do HR. I talk about HR laws. She's like, no, but people pay for this and they need that. And especially they need help getting people in the right room. And so she helped me do that. In the past year, she's probably helped me gain access to 5, 6, 7 clients. And one thing that I do is I do the 80-20 rule, and so 80% of anything, any of my vendors are going to be local vendors. So I hire Ari when I need dessert sometimes. I hire Chef Rue, I hired both of them right here. Ari did our desserts tonight. Chef Rue did we hired Caesar. Caesar's 16 years old. He's one of our Echo entrepreneurs. He's a DJ. So I do the 80-20. 80% are locally owned, very often minority-owned, women-owned, LGBTQ-owned businesses. I'm not going to Panera to do the catering. No shade on Panera, but if I'm doing an event, I'm going to keep my dollars local. 20% just to keep things on budget. One of the things you can do as an entrepreneur is you can live your values. And so one of my values is diversity, equity, and inclusion. And I do a lot of trainings on that as an HR professional. And so I only frequent the large businesses who have put their money where their mouth is with DEI. So I'm not going to the big box stores that are not supporting DEI. I am going to Trader Joe's, I am going to Costco, just to help with the budget for that 20%. But I do the 80-20 rule, so that's how I do it, and I keep it local.
Thank you so much, Sally. I'm going to stay with you, Sally. I'm curious, why should people here invest in entrepreneurs like you through Echo instead of just writing a one-time check somewhere else?
Well, I told you I'm fun. Because I love Durham, y'all. I love North Carolina. I love my community. And when I worked at Duke for 14 years, and when I decided to leave, that was a hard decision. I paid an executive coach a lot of money per hour for a year and a half to give me permission to quit my job. My wife's here, she can tell you that's true. She probably paid for part of that too. So I think we have to have confidence in ourselves first to start a business, right? But it's easier to have confidence in yourself when you're surrounded by really strong business owners. I'm looking at my friend Maria in the audience, who, like, I have other people I can go to, other women who have the values I have. And Echo has the values I have, and they support me. I can't tell you how many times I've gone to Anjanette to say, hey, I've got this issue with business. The other day I went to Larry and I said, there was somebody who was saying, I'm really having a hard time making a living as a speaker. And I'm like, you need to talk to Larry Long Jr., he's doing it. And so Larry told me he talked to my friend yesterday. So thank you. So there's that kind of thing. So that's why you invest. It's because when you're investing in one person, you're investing in our community.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Sally.
Of course. Because we have a special announcement. So I've known Pilar since 10th grade, 9th grade. You're now
A college junior.
Pilar has started 4 businesses. She received grant money for her youth Vibra. She started all kinds of things. But tell us what happened yesterday.
Thank you, Aunt Jeanette, and again, thank you for everyone being here. Yesterday, me and my family found out I own a business in Vice Durham, that we were awarded over 5K of grants, and I'm really, really proud of that, and I really, from the deep of my heart, like to say thank you to ECHO and thank you to the whole team for helping me mentor and this grant, because without them, I think I would have been nowhere. So again, just to give it applause to ECHO and Uncle and everyone here. Thank you.
She started Tasty Bites as a result of our Zero Hunger Sprint, working with students, and then she was like, I think I could do the thing, and they started it, and then reached out to this organization to help, I think, just expand the business and get some equipment and a trailer. So I just found out that happened, and they had the celebration yesterday. So while we're talking about access to capital, I wanted us to celebrate Pilar and family.
If that doesn't warm your heart, you need to check your pulse. I had the opportunity to meet Pilar, I think it was 5 years ago, and just to see the confidence, DJ Caesar, I met him at the same time, to see their confidence rise. We're impacting lives. If you can't get excited and thrilled about that, woo! You're in the wrong place. Now, speaking of being in the right place, oh goodness, that grove is off the chain. So you know I'm coming to you, Chef Ruth. I'm trying to cut down, but woo. So I want to know, who are you? What are you building? And why should people invest in you through ECHO?
So I'm Chef Ruth, as you all know. I am the owner of Artistic Eating. And what you may not know is that I'm not just a caterer, I'm a personal chef who caters. There's a difference. And I was with corporate for quite some time. I moved here from New Jersey, and I'm here now. And because of partnering with ECHO, they are part of the reason why I'm full-time chef. The investment in Artistic Eating and Chef Ruth, while I'm now announcing, it is allowing me to reinvest next year in 2026 in art. Being an entrepreneur full-time has allowed me to have my own schedule, right? And now I can focus on how I can pull other entrepreneurs, especially young entrepreneurs, up, you know, to help them learn what I have learned. And it's not easy to be an entrepreneur. It's just not for faint heart. I don't care what you say. Don't let social media fool you. But I absolutely love what I do. I wouldn't trade for anything in the world. And I owe ECHO a big, humongous thank you, because how they've invested in me is they retain me to cater their events like this and 100 other ones. And so I'm grateful for that, because it pays the bills. And again, it allowed me to then reinvest into other young entrepreneurs. I wanted to do it this year. I was so busy. Isn't that beautiful to be busy? And to self-promote this year booked for 2025. And now I'm going to commit to now reinvest in Ari so that she can be on this panel speaking to another entrepreneur.
And that's keeping it in the community.
Yeah.
I think we said double duty dollar. We're also doing double duty relationships. And I love to hear that you're booked and busy, and then you're working towards being peaceful and paid. Keep making moves, yeah, bars. No, I love it. We're gonna end with our champions. I've got a question for both you, Farad, as well as you, Colin. What is the risk if communities do not invest in creative capital pools like the one Echo is building? What's that risk?
Panera's not investing in Ari.
Yeah.
It's that simple. I've never heard of that. I've never even heard many times of maybe a larger regional or statewide chain investing in Ari. I don't think too many other things need to be said. It's 2025, let's be real. Things are tough. A lot of our families, a lot of us, maybe aren't doing our best. It's hard. Money's hard. Society is hard. But this creates wealth. This creates hope. This creates inspiration. And I am seeing, I'm 38. I feel like I have gotten the entrepreneurial, I'm catching the religion late in my life. And I think we're seeing conversions way earlier with Ari and with Kular. And I mean, if that's not inspiring you, then yeah, you've lost the track. But yeah, if we don't invest in creative capital, it's the much wider thing. What type of relational capital is our Anjanette and Sally and everyone connecting Kular and Ari to? It's the full circle.
I love it. Thank you so much, Colin. Give it up for Colin.
We live in this country which is called America, and it's really a capitalistic, if you didn't know, environment. And there's people who have money, and there's people who are trying to get money. Some people have wealth. And really the only way you can get your wealth is three ways. One, someone dies and leaves you some money. That's not going to happen for me, for lots of reasons, right? Because of maybe my cycle has changed, how things go. The second way is through housing. And in 2008, we lost more net worth in the minority business community than ever before in the history of America because of what happened in 2008. That's another way you create wealth. The last way you can create wealth is through business. And so being able to create an economic development system that fits into a society where you're pushing things back into your community is critical. And so it's not about the big box business. It's about the people who are making the big box business thrive because we're building the right kind of entrepreneurs that are going to love their community and do things. And people don't realize that in those entrepreneurs are also the people who give philanthropy dollars. Because Ray knows he can call me to borrow some money, but he may not be able to call Reed. Not that he can't call Reed, but I mean, you know, we know how to help people borrow money, take care of kids, or whatever it may be in your community. And entrepreneurs in your community become leaders, and then they end up being political leaders, and they end up doing. So if you look at the ecosystem, pardon the word, it makes sense to invest in those who are the least of us. Because if we can invest in those and they are productive and collective bargaining and collective engaging and collective buying, then we build a better community. Recognize or not recognize, the community knows those who are entrepreneurs and giving back. And I see one that I love. If y'all know Jennings, right? Jennings is one of those senior entrepreneurs that invested in downtown and put a business where she thought it wouldn't work and hired women and hired people of color and this got behind them and invited students from the Nativity School. She believes in the whole ecosystem of building community. And when you build great community, you bring a collective economy. And when you get a collective economy, you get workforce, you get taxes, you get all the things that happen that makes the world go around. So I think taking the big business mentality and micro-sizing that into a community allows for the community to thrive and survive.
I love it. I'm not crying, you're crying. That's access to capital right there. Let's give it up for our panelists. Thank you. Grants, contracts, retainers, dollars that move through the community and stay within the community. I do want to pause real quick. We're all here in the house, and I'm glad that we're here. But we're inclusive, and we have some folks that weren't able to make it. So can we give a shout out to all of our online streamers that are on TDS Radio as well as Echo. We appreciate you joining, we appreciate you supporting. wrap you up with a big hug. You're part of this amazing community. Thank you. Now we're about to head into break number 2, and I learned my lesson from break number 1. I don't know if I have enough microphones for y'all, because y'all like to talk. So you're on the timer for 10 minutes, and that's a tight 10. I want you to meet someone new. I want you to meet some of our entrepreneurs. And I've got a challenge for you. Here's your mission. We're playing bingo, impact bingo. Find someone at your table whose work you have not heard of yet. Really be intentional with your questions and getting to know them. I also want you to ask and inquire about their business, who they want to serve, who they want to meet. The second challenge I have, I want you to go ahead and look at your investment journey. We're here to raise awareness, yes, and we're here to raise funds. So I'm going to make a big ask, ASK, a big ask. Don't tell HR, a big ask. We would love for your support financially to help support the amazing programs that ECHO is doing to support this amazing community. Last but not least, remember we have our table challenge. Who's going to win the big board? So that we can row all of our boats. Make sure you drop the completed cards in the fishbowl tanks, and you're going to come back in 10 minutes with a spoken word, and you're going to give yourselves a round of applause. We'll see you around.
license plate number EEY6523. Anybody with a BMW with the license plate EEY6523? You are blocking someone from leaving. Oh, we need to move it also. It looks like it's in position to get it. EEY6523. You're getting told right now.
We would love that. Absolutely love it. If you want to win bingo, then I would encourage you to fill out the Team Future Scholarship Fund. Bingo. You can contribute to the donor advised funds or the other capital pool. So I'm going to give you 120 seconds, aka 2 minutes, to go ahead and make your choice. And once you fill out this card, if you could, I'm not going to take you on to church, but we will. If y'all could, just go ahead and drop it in the collector basket on your table. Thank you. You got 60 seconds. If you can give yourselves a round of applause, thank you. On this thankful Thursday, we appreciate your support, your time, your energy, your resource, your talents, your gifts. We are so appreciative. Now, before we move to the next session, the next segment, I want to give a shout out. And I need everyone to listen up. I need everyone to listen up, please. The folks that are over at the bar, you can listen up, please. This is important. Because like I said, not everyone can be here. But we've got one of our sponsors, E3 Durham and Magali, who's tuning in online, giving us shout outs online. Can we give a shout out and tell Magali just how much we appreciate you all? No, I don't think Magali can hear us. Can we give Magali a shout out? Thank you for tuning in, Magali. Thank you so much for your sponsorship. We appreciate you and we love you. Now for this next introduction, let's give a warm welcome to Coach Kent Blocker. Come on up, Coach Kent.
So, I just want to introduce the gentleman because I had an opportunity to meet him. And Arjun kept saying, have you met Lee Timber? I said, I haven't met Lee Timber. Have you met Lee Timber? Like she had told me at least about, I'd say no less than 5 to 6 times. And I was like, I haven't met him. But when I finally got a chance to connect with this gentleman and was stricken by his poetry, it blew my mind. When I say it blew my mind, there are poems in my phone from him that I have watched numerous times. Only because the words hit you different every time you listen to it. So we begged him to be here. He's a soccer player, and so he was in playoffs. So a part of us was like, yay! But then we're watching like, if he loses, yes, he can come in person. So it was a little bit of a twist. But it's my honor for you all to see this Echo student, Lee Timber.
Thank you all so much for this opportunity, and I'm going to waste no more time. My poem is called The Walls of Where You're Wanted. Being called two-faced is what most resent. For me, I take it as a compliment. Because if I were to document the many faces I display on a daily basis, y'all are generous with your time, but trust me, you're not that gracious. So let me give you a quick status update. The student athlete persona is killing the artist inside, eager to create. The SGA president is pressuring the advocate not to interrelate. The son is floundering, begging for no more to be added to his plate. And this dead weight echoes inside my head, but instead, I burst outside my bubble, creating good trouble, surrounded by those ready to double down and be all around. No aspect of me being clowned. Yes, this is as good as it sounds. Because the echoes of your dreams shouldn't be haunted. They should be flaunted against the walls of where you're wanted, ringing louder and louder, not urging you to let go, but to go on, because there's power in an echo.
Very rarely am I speechless. Very rarely am I at a loss for words. Now, I had the opportunity of meeting with Timba over the weekend, and I hope you know that you touched me and my wife just with how impressive you are. This is why we're here. This is our future right here. I don't know if y'all know this. Yeah, give it up. I don't know if y'all know this, but our world and our nation, we need more of this. And when you invest in Echo, this is what you're investing in. Right here. Powerful. Powerful. Thank you so much for Wolf, for bringing me one. That's truly the sound of our future, and I got to tell you, our future is brilliant, and our future is bright. I feel good. That warms my heart right there, and I hope it warms yours as well. Now that's fitting to kick off our last panel, because this is our youth entrepreneurship panel. If we want to make a different economic future for the Triangle, we can't wait until people are adults to invite them into entrepreneurship. Echo brings teens and young adults into a community center model where they can practice, not Allen Iverson, but they can practice leadership. They can build ventures and see themselves as problem solvers right now, not someday, but today. I want to go ahead and give a warm welcome to our youth entrepreneurship panel. Can we go ahead and have our panelists come up here? Lift it up for Jessica Collins, Sonali. We got Ari, Nazira, Matilda, and Leon. We got an all-star panel, powerful panel in the house. Love it. Musical chairs, musical microphones. Mic check 1 2 1 2. All right, we're gonna start off with a quick lightning round. This is for my champions, Jessica, Margaret, Sonali. I want you to think back to your youth. Who opened a door for you, or what experience changed your trajectory? And how did it shape your career? Jessica.
All right, I can go ahead and start. I am a boomerang in terms of living in North Carolina. So when people ask where you're from, I start by saying, do you know where Raleigh is? Do you know where Durham is? Do you know where Mebane is? Do people know that? I live in a small rural town called Pleasant Grove outside of Mebane. So I grew up in the country, about 40 miles from here. And when I think about growing up, part of what shaped my upbringing and who I am today was the community around me and the people, especially my family members, who I took for granted, but were so rich in the assets, the mindset, and the way they approached life. So my great-grandfather was a tobacco farmer. He would grow crops and give those to people in the community. And I look back, my uncle and my aunts went to HBCUs here in North Carolina. And they were electricians, and my aunt ended up being a dentist. And I couldn't wait to get out of the country. I was like, the first chance I get to leave, I am leaving. And after living all over the world, I recognized the power of my own community and how they invested in me, and that they were entrepreneurs. And I just took it for granted, but just recognizing that if you have a space where people believe in you, and you have a chance to try things, and it's okay to fail, that's what's most important. So that's been really critical throughout my career.
When I think about my trajectory, I could go all the way back to the beginning. My very first job search is where I landed after our conversation the other day. The very first job search. I'm from Missoula, Montana. I went downtown. My friend Kim and I were going to get jobs at Break Espresso, and they didn't. There was no job for us at Break Espresso, but our math teacher slash football coach was there. He said, "Are you looking for summer jobs?" We said, "Yes." He says, "Well, you'll come and work for me." I was like, "Okay." So he had a landscaping business, and every summer he would hire football players, and in this case, my friend Kim and I. to come and haul sod and do all the things that are landscaping jobs. So that's where it started for me. What the takeaway from me from that summer with Mr. Demmons and Kim was that opportunity doesn't always look like you think it's going to when you walk into Break Espresso, and instead your opportunity turns out to be your math teacher. Okay, fair enough. Also, that you could be a math teacher, you could be a football coach, and you could also have a business doing what you love and building something for the future. And I also learned what it meant to get paid under the table. $4 an hour. And I got to drive the riding lawnmower on my 16th birthday.
I want to echo back. Oh my gosh. Guys, I can't believe the joke hasn't been made yet tonight, because it's just too easy. I want to echo what Sally had said in the earlier panel. She was looking for permission to quit her job. I think as a young person, especially thinking back to myself in high school, I was looking for permission to take something and run with it. And when I think about that experience, I think about my high school teacher. It was junior year of high school. I decided that I wanted to film a documentary on food insecurity, specifically food deserts in my hometown, which is Richmond, Virginia. And so I wrote everything down on a piece of paper. I was like, this is the vision, these are the people I want to interview, this is how the film was going to look like. And I walked into my teacher's office and I sat down and I told her everything. And I realized halfway through that I actually had no idea where to begin. Genuinely no idea where to start. I think I used a camera for photography, just like as a hobby, but I had no idea how to go about filming a documentary. And she believed in my vision, but not only did she believe in my vision, she advocated for me. She talked to the school and they got me a camera for free, which I didn't have one. She looked at my list of interviewees and she was like, okay, I have connections to this one and this one and this one, and I'll help you set up these interviews. And she was clearing this path for me. And I ended up filming the documentary. I edited it, I submitted it to Duke's Independent Film Festival when I was a freshman in college, and it got selected for screening, which is really cool. But I think what that experience really showed me is that belief is really powerful, but belief when it's combined with action and advocacy is truly transformative. It's not enough to, I mean, it's great to believe in students, it's great to believe in the vision that they have, but to actually put your social capital behind them and to actually add your action to their vision, that is a power that is unlike no other. And I feel like in terms of shaping my trajectory, I work with early stage startup founders now, and it's so cool to be able to combine the conviction we have in early stage startups based right here in North Carolina and combine that conviction with capital and resources and community and really walk the talk. So, yeah.
Now we're going to get to our youth panelists, and I'm just lit up inside to see. And we'll start off with R, the baker. I remember, yeah, my wife raves because you threw that. Woo! So tell us, what are you building through Echo? What is it that you do?
I would say through Echo, I'm building a couple of things. One, I'm building myself as an entrepreneur, as a person in the community, as a growing adult, like as a growing teenager, I'm growing into, a young adult at some point. And the other thing is, I'm growing is just my impact in my business that I have on my community and just how I show up. I guess growing my presence in my community and truly just making a quality.
I love it. Thank you so much, Laura. And now we're going to go to Pilar. What is the biggest thing Echo has taught you, both about yourself as well as business?
Okay. At 15, I was told that I couldn't be good at business. At 15, I was told that I wasn't fit enough to be in the business field, that I couldn't be an entrepreneur, that I couldn't do this, that I couldn't do that I was a Hispanic little girl that, what would she know of? Echo proved them wrong. At 15, I joined their program, what was back then Audacity Labs, and for the first time I felt connected. I felt that entrepreneurship was my actual thing. I felt like I had like a second family, and by 19, which is what I'm at today, I'm currently 19 years old at Guilford College. I just got a grant, a past grants as well. I learned a lot of things. There's a huge lot of youth out there that doesn't know what Echo is, and I really, really wish from the deep of my heart that they knew what Echo is, because there's a lot of teens out there that don't have those same resources. Like Hispanic, there's language barriers, there's all these challenges, and it just makes me sad in the inside that if only we could expand, if only Echo was more, because we are a family. I was Ari's camp counselor when we launched our first summer camp, so seeing her grow when she was 13, now, oh my goodness, it's just a lot. I'm looking up on this, but I really would like to thank all of you for being here, and for everyone watching in the stream. My only statement is that yes, you can. Si se puede. And again, hello to mom and dad, hola mamá y papá, for giving me this opportunity, and to Andre for bringing us all here, being able to expand and being able to be who we are, being able to express ourselves. So for everyone here who was told no in the past, and now we are here, thank you very much.
And I'm going to share with you, for so many of us out there, you can't be what you can't see. And you're showing what's possible. When I look at the word impossible, I'm a wordsmith. The word impossible says it all. I am possible. And you're showing what's possible with a dream and with the resources. Thank you so much, Pilar. Give it up for Pilar. Let's give it up for our DJ, because that's my DJ. DJ Caesar, give my arm. Rocking the ones and twos. Thank you so much, sir. We're now going to take it to Hajira. Great to see you, Hajira. How has your involvement with Echo supported your goals, your dreams, your aspirations?
So one thing I always knew since when I was a kid was that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I had little earrings that I would sell. I sold lemonade. I sold popcorn until I got shut down. But I think it's always what I wanted to do, and there was no doubt in that. And when I was new to North Carolina, I was sort of lost. I was just going to school and doing all that. But I wanted something outside of school that I really connected with. And randomly, out of nowhere, I did a summer program at Echo right before my junior year, and it literally changed everything for me. I was able to meet so many people, and I think the biggest thing I got from Echo was inspiration and the community members they had. I met college students who are so smart, and I still look up to them so much. And it's so inspiring to meet people who are moving towards building what they really want. And even meeting you guys today is so cool to me. So Echo just build moments for me where I can truly do what I want to and build my dream.
We had the question earlier. I think it was from the young lady right here who said, I want to hear what kind of businesses your panelists have. So if you don't mind sharing, Pilar, Hajira, Ari, what kind of business do you have so that our kind donors can get to know how they're supporting you and what they're supporting you in?
Yeah, so I'll start and then with Ari, because I know you're, oh my goodness, the treats are delicious, like please. But yeah, my business is Tasty Bites Durham. You can find me on the website and on Instagram as well, tastybitesdurham.com. We're a catering, family-owned, Hispanic-owned, minority-owned business. We do catering from food, some Mexican desserts, and our dirty soda bar. So you can find us there.
Hello again, my name is Ari, just to remind you. My business is Sugar Symphony. I own a bakery. I make homemade goods, so I make a lot of different things. I make cupcakes, cakes, cookies, dip treats. I also take custom orders. So yeah, that's what I do.
So my name is Hajira, and I am working working on a workshop for high school students to be able to explore technology from a civic perspective. I want us to be able to build solutions for our community and our environment, and I really want them to get experience from professionals and meet startup companies and learn from people. Because from Echo, I learned that action is the best way to learn, and I really want them to explore real life things.
And now we're going to turn to our super spoken word connoisseur, soccer player, multifaceted. So Latimba, for you, how does creativity and entrepreneurship fit together? And what has Echo opened up within you?
Well, for me, I mean, you just saw it. Like, it's not even necessarily about opening it up. Like, I almost made this quote a few years ago. It's not always about who has the loudest voice, it's who has the biggest microphone. Because you can't be loud just by yourself. You need this. You need to be amplified. You need help. You need action. And for me, that's what Echo has been. It's been an opportunity to just simply portray myself. And then in the background, we tailor it, we work on it, we make it better. So for me, that's what Echo is.
Thank you so much. We're going to go back to our champions. If you don't mind, share who you're with as well. So I would love to hear, when you hear these youth speak, what feelings, what emotions, what comes to mind? And we'll start with you, Jessica. Who do you work with, and what comes to mind as you hear these brilliant youth?
Yeah, so I work in a tech company called Pindo, which is based in Raleigh, North Carolina. I lead our people teams, and we've already connected about getting students there in our office. But I mean, I just am inspired hearing like the innovation, the energy, the ideas, and just knowing not only are you all thinking about your businesses, you're thinking about your community, and just hearing that, it just really inspires me. And so really just, I'm in admiration of what you all are doing.
Margaret, I would love to ask you, why is investing in youth entrepreneurship through Echo good for our communities, good for our local communities, as well as who you work with?
I'm Margaret Dabb, and I do strategic communications for entrepreneurial support organizations and economic development groups. And what I hear is options. And from all of you, just options, opportunities that this community is helping to support, and that's important. We all need options in this community. All of our students, all of our young people, all of our adults, and I think that's the most exciting thing for me this evening.
Hi, I'm Sonali. I'm an investor at Primordial Ventures. We're an early stage VC firm based in Durham, and we invest in tech founders based in North Carolina. So we're very bullish on the state. When it comes to why we should invest in youth entrepreneurship, you guys heard the incredible students that are up here today. Is anyone else feeling so much more hopeful about the state of the world? I think as a young person, it's so easy to not be taken seriously. We are constantly having to prove ourselves to a much higher degree, especially some of us that come from underserved communities. And I think there's always this narrative that the younger generation, they're naive, they don't know how to use their resources, they don't know how to be resilient, they don't know how to build for the future. Our students are proving everyone wrong, and you're seeing it right here in person. Youth entrepreneurship, I also want to say, youth entrepreneurship is entrepreneurship, full stop. Yeah. They are credible and legitimate. They're thinking about their markets strategically. They are being creative and scrappy with their resources. They're talking to their customers. They're thinking very intelligently about building a business for the future. I worked at Echo for 3 years when I was an undergrad. I was an intern there when it was still Audacity Labs. I saw Pilar and Caesar and Donna walk into class on their first day. I saw Ari walk into class on her first day. And the insane confidence boost and the way that they're speaking today, it's making me a little choked up just because this is our generation, this is the future. This is exactly who you're investing in. This is exactly where your dollars are going to. And youth entrepreneurship is an investment in economic development. It's an investment in our ecosystems, in every civic aspect of our community. It's built on youth entrepreneurship and making sure that we equip this generation with the tools that they need. The power is already within them, and ECHO is just about passing the mic, like what was already said. It's about giving them a space to recognize that potential that was already within them. So I'm so excited to have a front seat to cheer them on, and I'm really excited to support them moving forward.
What you see in front of you is the pipeline for entrepreneurship in our community as well as in our world. They see themselves as founders, as leaders, as contributors today, which you all are. Let's give a round of applause for our amazing youth entrepreneurs. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. So we've heard all the stories. Panel number 1, panel number 2, panel number 3, relationships, capital, our youth and our future. Now we're going to watch a special message from Dr. Henry McCoy, the current CEO of Carolina Community Impact. He's a distinguished academic career. He's led the entrepreneurship program at North Carolina Central and has held appointments at Duke, UNC Chapel Hill, and Harvard. He's widely recognized as a leading thinker on inclusive and equitable entrepreneurial ecosystems and the role of public investment in expanding economic equity and opportunity. Let's give a round of applause for Dr. Henry McCoy.
Dr. Henry McCoy, Henry-McCoy. I am the President and CEO of Carolina Community Impact, a community development financial institution based in Raleigh, North Carolina, but statewide. We focus on investing in entrepreneurs, small businesses, particularly those that are underrepresented and underinvested in. And so our mission and our goal is to, work with one business at a time, one entrepreneur at a time, to really move them forward and to create stronger and better communities. But when I think about an organization like ECHO, it really reached me in some very deep ways. People that see me now, they know that I've done a lot of things that hopefully have contributed to society in meaningful ways. I've been in the banking and finance space. I've been in the academic space. I've been in the government space at some of the highest levels, but I didn't start out in those places. Growing up, money was a challenge. Grew up a young kid on public assistance. And so for me, as I grew up, I recognized that, things were not all equal in terms of who had capital, who had opportunity. But I also recognized that the folks who I was seeing that was able to kind of create some economic mobility, oftentimes were folks connected to business. And so when I think about organizations like ECHO, I recognize just the importance of what it means to be an organization sitting at the center of this idea of economic mobility and open mobility. Especially working with entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurship is not easy. It's one of the hardest things that anybody can ever do. And it also often feels like it's something that is solo or alone. And we oftentimes, whenever the popular press comes to us, it gives us these storylines around these long rangers who are doing these great things and building these gazillion-dollar companies all by themselves. But the reality is that no one gets ahead alone. And so when you have organizations like ECHO, it just shows that you have an organization that brings together a village to support people, support entrepreneurs, support their dreams. There's nothing better, nothing more powerful than a dream and a community to help bring that dream forward. And so, when individuals have ideas, sometimes they don't know where to turn, they don't know where to go to. When I taught entrepreneurship for many years at North Carolina State University, I would always tell my students, the first thing that you need to do is, find a good lawyer, find a good accountant, you need somebody to keep you out of jail, both ways. But, organizations like ECHO brings those resources together all in one place, whether it's teaching somebody about financial literacy, teach those individuals about how to create the capital stack, teach those individuals how to put together a business plan, how to pitch, how to have the confidence just to stand up and say, this is my idea. That's where the incredible value is, and to have that community. And so when I think about an organization like ECHO, I think about just how important it is that institutions are stood up that can be there to embrace entrepreneurs wherever they are in their kind of development stage, and be there to help cheer them on, motivate them, and bring resources that they can utilize as they try to go on their journey.
And that right there is why you've all been invited to this room. When communities and when the people in the communities invest in our entrepreneurs through places like ECHO, it moves the needle on jobs, stability, and long-term wealth building. Now tonight we've heard stories of tailored learning, trusted relationships, and creative access to capital. We've heard from our future leaders, innovators, and change makers, and we know that ECHO is building something that has never been built in the Triangle before. A community center for entrepreneurs to create. A place that starts with community and builds everything else around it. A place where membership means coaching, camaraderie, and a long runway from your first idea to your 10th year in business. Now to share the future vision, please help me to welcome two of our board members, Dr. Terrence Root and Mitch Sadler. Come on, guys.
Good evening. Now, I'm thrilled to be here today with you, and tonight we get the opportunity to share about the future of ECHO. Mitch and I are going to ask you a series of questions that we've not only asked ourselves, asked funders, key stakeholders, more importantly, we have also asked our entrepreneurs, particularly those who've been asked to walk an uneven path with tremendous obstacles. So let's begin. What if the Triangle had entrepreneurial enclaves? Not co-working, not just a desk in an office, but a true community center with intentionality around shared resources, peer pods, and access to all capital pools.
And what if we could build pathways that actually mitigate what is an uneven playing field? We know our economy has some innovation deficits, that the rising tide of our region has not lifted all boats. Too many people with talent and drive and ideas often feel locked out of the innovation economy. They feel like it is not of them, because they lack the right resources, the right mix of connections and support, all the things that we're talking about tonight. And so at ECHO, we already see what can happen when we start to close some of those gaps and address some of those deficits. Since January of 2024, and I'm going to read this one verbatim. This is an amazing statistic that Anjanette passed along to us. Since January of last year, ECHO has reinvested more than $275,000 directly into our youth and adult entrepreneurs through grants, contracts, internships, scholarships, and awards.
Now, what if we created a circular economy of shared resources? An ecosystem where entrepreneurs are not just consumer of services, but co-creators, where they teach, coach, contract, and invest in each other. In that circular economy, every win recirculates. A new contract into a new job. A new vendor opportunity becomes the thing that keeps a small business alive through hard seasons. A team develops skills that lead to contracts, internships, and scholarships.
And so what if ECHO can be the infrastructure for more capital, for those resources that we've been talking about? Financial capital, yes, and indeed I want to ask everybody, if you haven't filled out the commitment card, please do it, because we need that, but not just financial capital, the other forms of capital that we've heard our panelists talk about tonight. Social capital is a huge one, particularly in a region like ours. Introductions can change everything, and we know that the collective relationship might in this room is indeed powerful. But there's also cultural capital, the sense that each individual, that their story, their neighborhood, their lived experience actually matters in the marketplace. And human skills, human capital, skills, confidence, and entrepreneurial mindset that no one can take away. That is, without a doubt, a huge power of what we do. Research tells us that when more women and when more entrepreneurs of color enter and stay in the innovation economy, that everyone wins. Global GDP grows, local jobs increase, and most importantly, communities build wealth instead of watching them leave. ECHO is designing the systems that makes these forms of capital visible, accessible, and renewable.
So this what if exercise is not just a question, it's a blueprint. It's an enclave, pathways that flatten an uneven playing field. A circular economy of shared resources. Capital pools that include access to financial, social, cultural, and human capital. A community where each member is valued, cheered for, and reinvested in each other. You're here at the deep end, this one tonight, but it is bigger than any one program, any one grant cycle, or any one organization. It is the community-led platform for a long-term economic development, youth empowerment, and intergenerational wealth.
And so here's our last what if for the evening. What if you decided that you were not just a guest here tonight, and we certainly love that you're a guest here tonight, but what if you were a co-builder with us, with the panelists, with the youth and the adult entrepreneurs, a co-builder of that future for the triangle? What if you choose to give at a level that is comfortable for you, that enriches you, and that you feel valued from? What if you choose to champion ECHO in rooms that we're not in yet, and to talk about us and advocate? I love that word earlier that Sonali mentioned around advocacy. What if you choose to partner with ECHO and share your resources with our growing entrepreneur community? Those cards, again, that we mentioned a couple times at your seat, are just blueprints. They're the bricks of the enclave that we were mentioning that we can build together. So our entrepreneurs, both young and old and oldish, are already imagining that what if, right? They're already thinking through all of these what ifs that we've talked about tonight. They're already hustling, they're already building, they're already taking risks. And our job together is to make sure that that talent, that courage, that vision is not wasted. Not wasted because the infrastructure is there to help them achieve. So we want to just thank you. First, actually, I want to thank Anjanette and the board and the team and Dom. I've gone off script for a moment. Anjanette said, please off script. A little bit there, I apologize. But having started one of the components of this organization, like Dynasty Labs, 5 or 6 years ago with my work with Quincy, to see this room, to see this incredible diverse group of people, to balloons, and incredibly charming and charismatic board members up by my side, it is absolutely unbelievable. And so to me, I had a big what if with Quincy many years ago that this community has helped address and answer. And I want to thank all of you for believing in this vision, for jumping into the deep end with us tonight, and helping us turn all of these what ifs into look at what we can build together. So thank you all.
Thank you, Mitch. Thank you, Terrence. And keeping the thanks going, I do want to say thank you to our sponsors. Please make sure that you support our sponsors as they support us. Let's give a round of applause for our sponsors. I want to give a few more cheers and recognition to our community champions, to our ECHO entrepreneurs. And actually, if you're an ECHO board member, please stand up. Please stand up. Please stand up. Yeah. our community. I also want to give a huge thanks to Chef Rue. Where's Chef Rue for the amazing food? To Marie Smith for keeping us hydrated. I think I need some more hydration. As well as to go DJ, but that's my DJ, DJ one of those two founders, as well as Ari with Sugar Symphony. Woo! And I gotta be getting some of those cupcakes. That's right, man. I also want to give a shout out to Coach Ken. Thank you, Coach. This is heartwarming. He had to leave early. They both had to leave early, but Farad, Ali, and Christiana Heyman, they host a Friday networking group every Friday morning. I've had the opportunity to join. I see some familiar faces in here. And as they were leaving, they said, we're going to commit that not tomorrow, but after Thanksgiving, because they have goodies and treats, they're going to commit to hiring one of our youth entrepreneurs to cater that. They're going to give it up for them. Let's impact the community right now. We can talk that talk, but are we going to walk that walk? And that's my encouragement is go out there and take action. The opportunity is knocking, it's right there. So as we start to wrap up, yes, we've got the Golden Oar Prize, and I'm going to turn it over to Anjanette. Who's the winner of that Golden Oar?
I need you to tell me that. Any table here, fill out every part of bingo. In the meantime, as you figure that out, or has your table, everybody at your table filled out the commitment card? Who said that?
We got one table here. What's the table number? Table number 9. Any other tables? Oh, we got a VIP table in the back. What table number? 22. What you gonna do? Table number 9 and table number 22. Any other tables? Okay. Table number 8. Table number 9 and table number 22.
We have all the commitment cards filled out at those 3 tables, 4 tables.
3 tables.
Now we need to count the bingos. How many squares do you have? In the meantime, while you figure that out, and DJ is going to come around. So we've got this table, and then in the back. I do have some big thank yous. Jennings with Parker and Otis. Thank you so much. And Elizabeth McClellan. Thank you so much. Is it Echo Swag or Bingo or who else? Phil Bazar?
Phil! Uncle Phil!
Okay. King table. How many bingo squares you got? Okay. Radiate Works, how many bingo squares you got?
24.
I think 24.
Table number 22. How many bingo squares?
But we're counting. Hold on. There's so many.
14. Okay, I think the King table has it with 14. And you must defend that. Bring it back next year. See if you can keep it.
Now before Anjanette closes us out, I want to rewind. When we started tonight's activities and festivities, I asked her to set an intention. I want you to go back to what that intention was. What did you want to learn? Who did you want to connect with? Who do you want to help and who do you want to serve? And my encouragement is that it doesn't stop tonight. I encourage you to keep that going throughout the rest of this year. Get in the mix in 2026.
There's so much amazing momentum, so much amazing energy within this community. Let's keep it rocking and rolling for Echo. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Anjanette to close this out. Thank you, Anjanette. Give it up for Anjanette.
It's going to be like 2 seconds. Thank you so much. I don't want to throw, I was just talking to Naomi, this is really important to me. Community is not a throwaway word. It is super buzzy right now, and it makes sense. Post-COVID, like all the things, the world is really rough right now, and it's like overwhelming. So community gets bandied around. This is real work to us. I tell my staff this a lot, and volunteers who come in. This is a nonprofit. We're a social enterprise nonprofit, but we're able to operate because people give us money. So people give us money through contracts, or through grants, or foundations, or corporations, but people give us money. I do not take that lightly. I just don't. Can you stand this money? It's my mom. My mom is 85 and she donates $5 a month. Because she believes in me and in this work, and I do not take that lightly. So you saw so much. I can't tell you how many times Deanna and Ken, McKinley, and I hear, there's only 4 of you? There's 4 of us, 4 full-time staff. And we do this. And we do it all, and I keep saying yes. I remember who said that, I think it was Coach Ken, was like, I'll just keep going, like, oh, we're gonna do this thing. And then next week I'm like, oh, maybe we should do this thing. Now let's build that thing. Let's start connecting these dots because it's your money. And I don't take that lightly. And I know that any space and grace, any privilege that I've gotten to be able to be a business owner, put my kids through college, and kind of live the kind of life that I'd like to live when I had no business doing that as a mom at 17. And it took me 8 years to get into undergrad and 8 years to get a master's degree. I get to live the life I want because of entrepreneurship. And I'm bound and determined to try to make that happen for anybody who would like to come in our doors. So thank you for being here. I can't wait to see you. Not next year. I want to see you next week. I want to see you next month. I want you to reach out to me. You can bug me all the time. Anjanette, I met you at the thing. Anjanette, I met you at the thing. Where's Colin? Is Colin still here? Colin and I did this. Like, remember we were going to meet? Remember we were going to... And then we met and we did the thing. So, you're welcome here. I need you. They need you. So thank you for being here. Let's go home. It's Thursday, tomorrow's Friday. Let's get out of here.
Have a good night.